6 different classes racing this week at Reno. This is day 2 of racing, and we are going to get our first look at a full field T6 race. We had some T6 drag Rob Lowe a little bit earlier today. That was exciting, but now we got a full field race, and this is the gold class.
This is the gold class, Tommy, and this is our most unique and historic class overall. And we're going to get to see the traditional format of T6 racing here. You see the aircraft on screen taking the runway, preparing to depart here momentarily. But this is really, truly match racing between stock aircraft. It's the only class that is this defined to be that way. So we get to see advanced trainers based on the AT6, the North American Aviation AT6. There's different variants that we're going to see in the field today. The Army Air Corps Air Force version is the AT6. The Navy version in blue typically is the SNJ. And then they also license built them up in Canada, and those are called the Harvard. So these aircraft, for the most part, very few modifications are allowed at all. And you can see our pace plane beginning to depart there. And that is Rod Sandberg in that airplane. He's going to take off early, kind of get up ahead of the rest of the aircraft as we get ready to go around here in just a minute as he gets going. But these aircraft were built back in the World War II era, and they were built in Inglewood, California, Grand Prairie, Texas, both. And then here we go with our field as they depart, Tommy.
That's Chris Rushing, Barron's Revenge, 4-time champion here. Defending champion as well, won in 2016, 2019, 21, and 22. And 66, Vic McMahon, the gunslinger, AT. Vancouver, British Columbia, race 66.
Yeah, beautiful airplane there as he gets it up and running. Now these aircraft here, you see race number 6. This is 6-cat Nick Macy in race 6. Beautiful dark-colored aircraft there. You can see the beautiful look at that. You notice we have a single pilot aircraft is built for 2, but in race configuration, we just have 1.
John Lomar here. Nick Macy, by the way, a 5-time champion here. John Lomar won in 2017 here. Also one of the favorites in T6 racing through the years at Reno.
There's race 50. Vitaly Pechersky in Abracadabra. Beautiful white with yellow stripe aircraft you can see there. That is an AT6 with the Canadian markings on it. And then we end up with Joel Stinnett. Race 43, Midnight Miss 3.
Getting up there. This one has a passenger in it, so this is part of the program here. Lucky a rider gets to go and watch the race from above.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of our observation aircraft. There you can see the passenger in the back. Canopies open, flight of a lifetime.
Yeah,
they auction those off or whatever. So, but let's talk a little bit about the race. What we're going to see is the aircraft get airborne. It's an airborne start. And they will drop into our 5-mile medium length course, 4.8 miles to be exact. We're going to do 5 laps. Speeds averaging in the low to mid 200 miles per hour as they make their way around. Now this is, like we said earlier, they're stock aircraft, originally about 185 horsepower. The top racers in this class will get us up to close to 250. The specifications in this class are very equal. It's all about pilot skill and performance. Here's a great shot from in cockpit. But let's look at our course, Tommy, as we get ready to go. You'll see that they follow the pace plane. We saw depart just a minute ago. Line abreast start as they make their way down towards the runway. And they will be headed into our 5-mile T6 course right overhead of runway 8. And they begin to make their left turn around pylons 1, 2, and 3. 7 pylons in total as they make their way around. They have to stay in their lane until that first turn. And as they make their way around. The aircraft fly on the Pratt & Whitney stock engines, 9-cylinder, 1,340 cubic inch, and regular avgas, no funny gas.
No funny fuels at all. Chris Rushing is our top qualifier here, 4-time champion here, and we talked to him before the race.
Well, you know, it's always emotional. Get the first heat race under your belt. Last Reno race, you know, even before I started racing, I was coming here to crew. So there's a lot of history here. So, you know, we'll get through this year and then figure out the future. I'm happy to be.
Chris Rushing up there right now. Again, he is our pole position right now, qualifying speed of 236 miles an hour. There you can see those planes in formation before they drop down and begin these 5 laps, about just a little under 25 miles total. It's the length of the race.
Absolutely. So what you see here, Tommy, is the aircraft are following the pace plane. They've departed to the east. They made the left turn. They're now all headed west. They'll get west of the field and get organized like we saw in our graphic where they come back for the start where they'll be line abreast. Right now they're just following in trail with the pace plane as they head out to get organized. So, Tommy, the pace plane led up there, Mr. Rob Sandberg leading that field, and I think he might have something to say for us.
Yeah, we also had a chance to talk to Rob a little bit about his duties driving that pace plane here. Let's hear what Rob had to say.
Coming here as a kid, I've been coming to the Reno Air Race as a kid since 1983. I've been flying since 2011. 2012, 13, 14, I raced, and now I fly the pace airplane. The pace airplane is just like IndyCar. There's a pace car that all the racers follow. I bring them down on the course, I release them, and then I orbit overhead and make sure everybody flies a safe race.
Very important job out here.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw that last aircraft to depart also orbits overhead. They typically separate the two of them with altitude, but they are both orbiting overhead the race course. Our racers are down at a minimum no lower than 50 feet. Tommy, as they go around the seven pylons, like we talked earlier, upwards of 250 miles an hour once they get on course. But it really is match racing. There's very few modifications that they can do. Now, they do allow them to do a couple things. They can increase the compression in the cylinders on this stock engine. They can also take tape and cover up the seams, which, believe it or not, the panel seams actually cause drag and slow you down when you're looking for that half a knot or quarter of a knot difference. So they're allowed to do very minimal modifications, but for the most part, these very historic aircraft, it's a crowd favorite, very much equal match racing here.
Absolutely, yeah, that's what they love. They love the fact that the emphasis is on the pilot's skill and strategy and execution during the course of the race here. These planes are not easy to fly. They're big, heavy tail draggers. And Rob, they used to say, once you had graduated your training with this, the planes only got easier to fly. They didn't get harder to fly.
No, that's true. And Tommy, there are many, many documented cases of pilots in training in World War II moved on to a P-40 or a P-51 or some other airplane, and they came back to their instructors and said, why didn't I get to fly the P-51 first? It's so much easier. But in reality, what that created is it created amazing pilots, amazing warfighters that were very effective throughout World War II. And this aircraft that we all affectionately know as the pilot maker had a lot to do with that, and that is exactly why it was. So you can see here as these historic aircraft are beginning to form up on our pace plane, they're beginning to maneuver into the line abreast feature. They are well west of the airfield. Now our long-range cameras are doing a great job of reaching out and pulling those in. They're quite a ways west of the field as they continue to maneuver. And like we heard from Rob Sandberg, he is flying a specified course in getting them back to the lineup where they'll all be line abreast. You can see them beginning to turn left. That would be the approach back in to the final approach course, if you will, as they make their way towards the start. They'll all be line abreast in a straight line. Rob will make sure they all line up, and like he said, he releases them, tells them, gentlemen, you have a race, and off we go.
They're getting ever closer to the race course here.
Now, once smoke on, that tells us that the pace plane has them lined up. He's satisfied with that. They've just been cleared onto the course, as we heard there on the radio, Tommy. It's from race control. So smoke on, that's our pace plane, and you can see the other observer plane far into the left, staying behind. And you see our 6 racers lined up with Chris Rushing, the defending champion, on the pole. At this point, he's next to the aircraft with the smoke. Second to the right at the moment, you'll see the pace plane pull up.
5 laps will commence when we pass the start-finish pylon here, and that is just seconds away.
Let's listen in till we hear the pace plane and race control.
Gentlemen, you are released for the course.
There he goes. Pace plane's away. You heard him release the aircraft. The race is on, Tommy. Here we go. The first of 5 lap. This is so exciting. Let's listen as this flight of 6 comes by. This is one of the most historic special sounds you'll ever hear as these aircraft come by. Tommy, that is
Crackling
something
sound.
that sends chills down your spine, and I know every spectator live there as well as online had the same effect. Now our aircraft, you notice they had to stay in line until they got to that first pylon and begin to make the turn. And our pole sitter was on the inside track there, and now they're beginning to make their way around. And that is Chris Rushing on the screen now in Barron's Revenge, who was our pole sitter qualifying at 236 miles an hour, and it looks like, Tommy, he's going to hold the lead, at least for now.
Second, third place, those two black airplanes.
Stepping out again, this is going to go very, very quickly. As we say, only 5 laps on this 5-mile course.
There you see our leader makes his way around pylons 4, 5, 6, and 7, making their way back towards the home stretch and the home pylon. And that is Chris Rushing, our leader, as he brings the field back around home. The crackling sound, there's a great shot. Look at the field. Wow. They're bunched up right behind him. The crackling sound that you hear as he goes by, let's listen in and see if we can pick that up. Tommy, that crackling sound is the tips of those metal 9-foot-long Hamilton standard props going supersonic. The low rumble you hear is that 9-cylinder air-cooled radial engine. But just what an amazing sound, and that is one of the classic things that happens here at Reno, and we're glad to repeat it here. What a race we have here, Tommy. 3
planes chasing Chris Rushing right now, include 2 former champions here, Lomar and Macy, and 6 Cat, Radial Velocity.
Yeah, what a great look. And like we talked about, this is match racing, very equally matched aircraft. It's pilot skill is what happened. Look at this. I mean, they are going down the backstretch here, just absolutely wired together, the 3 of them, and they begin to maneuver. That is second, third, and fourth as they make their way across. Lomar on the far right, Macy in the middle, dark blue aircraft, and McMahon in race 66 there as they make their way around the final pylons on this lap. It's just neck and neck, and there you see our leader kind of scoot through. Mm-hmm. They're not far behind.
No, Chersky there after behind our second 3. As they come into the home stretch here, completing lap number 1.
Now look here is
number 2, I should say.
Yeah, look at Lomar has kind of moved up, but right there with him, there is Nick Mason in the 6 Cat in the black aircraft. And those 3 are really jockeying. Now, remember, they got to pass on the outside, Tommy. So Lomar has maneuvered himself into that inside track, and he's got a little bit of an edge there on race number 6, Nick Macy.
It's Lomar in the blue plane with yellow trim on it there, you see. Lower than the other 2. Big McMahon 66 out front.
Yeah, and it looks like Lomar's got a little bit of speed, maybe even on McMahon. As you watch him come out of this turn, roll to the right to wings level, you can see he's gradually closing that gap and has slowly gotten himself out in front of race 6 and Macy in the black T6 there. But they're still neck and neck, Tommy. Look at that.
It's so tight for second place.
Wow, look at Macy. He really had some speed down the backstretch there. He really caught back up to Lomar, but he does have to take the longer road around. Now, this is going to be interesting with the 3 of these aircraft because Lomar's got a little bit of speed as he enters this turn too. So if he were to catch him, he's going to have to pass on the outside.
Veteran here, many years, 5 times the champion, the gold medal winner in T6. These 3 are putting on a show for us, that is for sure.
Yeah, that is neck and neck race. I mean, that, it doesn't get any better than that with bumper to bumper door banging stock car racing. I mean, that's what we got right here. Obviously, we're not going to touch, but man, that is close racing right there. This is exactly what the fans come to see and what we want to see here on the live stream. And there you see John Lomar now is really beginning to track down
Vic McMahon,
Vic McMahon and Gunslinger, and he's pulled a little bit away from Macy. But these 3 aircraft incredibly equally matched here as they make their way around. You can see the battle for second now. This is second, third, and fourth on your screen. The battle for second is shaping up as Lomar continues to just track down Vic McMahon in race 66. You get a really good look here at how he's closed in on him. Now he's going to stay low through these turns and continue to fly up that slipstream, and you can see there he begins to just slide outside a little bit. My guess is he's built a little momentum, and when we see them come by from our left to our right momentarily, we will see that he has a little bit of energy and probably beginning to work on completing this pass if he can.
It's going to wrap up lap number 4 for these teams.
McMahon looks like he held him off there. I thought that Lomar had a little bit more momentum there, but let's jump back out front here. Here's our leader, Chris Rushing. He had the lead from the start, and he continues to hold, just flying on rails out front, Tommy.
Top qualifier, making it look like a walk in the park for sure.
He's it's a little bit out of our camera shot. He's not terribly far in front of that battle for second, third that we watched a minute ago. But here you see him, Chris Rushing, just expertly navigating his beautiful Barron's Revenge AT6 around the pylons here on the west end of our course as he's completing lap number 4. We are expecting to see the white flag when he comes back to the home pylon here momentarily.
He's absolutely got it dialed in. Our defending champion. And 4-time champion.
Tommy right behind him here coming around the pylon 6 and 7. What a great race for second, third, and fourth here. And Lomar, you can see he's on the outside to the left of your screen with the yellow stripes on the blue wings. He is absolutely giving Vic McMahon all he can handle here in this race. This is the race for second, ladies and gentlemen. Coming across the home pylon, we are at the white flag, and look at Lomar. He's got some momentum. Let's see if he can do it. 1 lap to go.
No, that was it.
That was it.
Yeah, that was the one.
My bad. I was 1 lap off, Tommy. So that was, wow. He almost got him, but not quite.
Just about did. It's going to be Vic McMahon in second place. And, of course, Chris Rushing, your champion here in our T6 class Heat 1A here on the second day of racing at Reno.
I got so excited when passing and where they were, I lost track of the laps. Wow, my apologies.
That's pretty easy to do.
But here we are back at the start, Tommy, and you could see that Chris Rushing out front and the rest of the field right there. They hit that first pylon. They could begin to turn and break out of their lanes. And Chris Rushing here held it from flag to flag.
Absolutely jumping out to a quick lead there and never relinquishing, never really allowing the field to get that close to him, but a great race for him. Second place among 3 planes.
Yeah, here you see the 3 of them here on your screen as we make our way around. This was second, third, and fourth all the way. Initially, the black aircraft of Nick Macy, race 6. 6 Cat was right in there, but eventually he dropped back. And it became a 2-plane race for second out of this group, although that group stayed close together. Eventually, it was Vic McMahon in Gunslinger, as well as John Lomar in Radial Velocity with the blue and yellow wing. And there's your leader and your eventually unofficial winner right there taking the checkered flag.
Defending champion Chris Rushing and number 14, the Barron's Revenge. And there we go, Vic McMahon holding off. John Lomar just barely for second place. What a race here in Reno, T6 Heat 1A. There's your unofficial results, Chris Rushing. Of course, Barron's Revenge, race 14. Vic McMahon, Gunslinger, race 66. John Lomar, race 88. Hanging in there for third place. Nick Macy in fourth in the 6 Cat. Vitaly Pechersky fifth, and Joel Stinitz in Midnight Miss 43rd. That's it, T6 racing on Thursday.